Hargreaves, chance for Torquay! Chris Hargreaves, the captain! If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells!
Hello and welcome to the latest Gull'S review, brought to you by Galaxy TQ. I'm joined by Dom.
Hello guys, you right?
I'm joined by Chris.
Oh, hello again.
I'm joined by Tom.
Happy New Year, lads.
Oh, Happy New Year.
Almost Happy New Year.
I went to introduce you and had a quick last minute change then. I went for Dom, I went to change to Chris last minute. Oh, I don't know.
I was
Anyway.
last week, so I just assumed you were rotating.
Yeah, and I was rotating. Indecision, just like Torquay in the second half. Right, so I've named this video, you don't notice it. New Year, same old, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. It depends how PG I'm going to go. But basically, Torquay have kicked off the new year, just how we expected them, with a 2-0 defeat. I actually said 3-0 defeats. We'll go into our opinions, but first, just in summary, my summary, same old, innit? Played pretty well in the first half. The Torquay team 2 years ago smashed that Yeovil team 3-0. All right, I'm not been funny Yeovil fan, apart from Maguire Joe, obviously, but I mean, yeah, that was there for the taking. Torquay huffed and puffed. Didn't work the keeper still, missed a few good chances, and the inevitable happened in the second half, and we are in dire trouble. We'll talk about the bigger picture a bit more in the second part, but we'll go for Chris first, as you were the only one that was there, and I was watching it on TV. Very good streaming package. There's your positive for the episode. I very much enjoyed it.
Was actually, wasn't it?
Very good. They've come on a bit, and BBC commentators, is it BBC Somerset? Their commentary is very good as well. But yes, Chris, fire away the negatives.
The only one who got off their backside didn't sit in the warm, you mean? Me? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, look,
I've got a roof, mate. Well, I
was in the stands this year, so I wasn't so bad. It was all right, but yeah, it was as you said, really. I mean, again, I think what you saw on the, obviously you were watching the game as well. It was just, it's kind of hard to know how to feel, because I mean, if you turn up and get beaten in games and you're rubbish, like we have in a lot of the games at times this season, it's easier to take. But you just dominated the game again. They came out strong in the first 10 minutes. We had to kind of withstand a bit of territory in the first 10 minutes. But from the kind of minutes 15 to half time, and then after the first 10 minutes of the second half, we dominated the ball, dominated the territory.
Yeah, I was forward.
The movement was good in midfield, the interplay between Hall and Lapsley and Evans into bringing Werner de Silva into the front two was good. And all it needed was just someone to get a proper connection on quite a lot of situations in the box where you just need a good contact and a good strike. Ironically, the best one got cleared off the line, but there were so many opportunities. And then, of course, the more it goes on at 0-0, you think, 0-0, a draw would not be the end of the world, but it's not great. But then, but unfortunately, just at the moment, it does just feel like that might just happen. And we got done on a counter. Asa lost the ball, but then couldn't run back because he's cramped. So he's lying on the floor with his leg in the air. And again, the cross in, it was a bit fortunate in that you kind of fire it into an area, don't you? It might get cut out, it might not. It goes just behind Wyatt, and he's running at the back post and puts it in. So, and then after that, did I think we were going to equalise?
No, the game was
not.
I was pointing out Halstead made a few good saves as well.
It was the only good cross of the game, though, Chris, wasn't it? It was the only cross the whole game that dissected between the defence and the goalkeepers. The whole match, we had enough chances to make those crosses, but we just couldn't find it.
The final product is still. It's a weird game where we had quite a few chances, but we still, I can't really, apart from the long range shots, which were tricky. So, can't think of a chance where we thought, we've really worked the keeper there.
There wasn't a real chance. There was lots of opportunity and lots of kind of the balls in the box might have dropped our way, but we didn't kind of create something you would call an opportunity. I have to say, as an overarching comment, but I thought the quality of both games against Yeovil was really poor.
Yeah,
they were very.
Apart from Maguire Drew and the keeper.
To be honest,
to be fair, the keeper made a mistake in the box,
but he wasn't in the game. He wasn't in the game at Yeovil. He wasn't. No. I mean, the pass for the equaliser at our place, but the actual quality of the game. When they set up with the centre back up front, and you thought, oh, okay. I mean, they were direct to play more, but crikey. They just went even quicker. They were trying to get Linton in off the shoulder of Omar, which nearly did a couple of times. But in fairness to Ali, Omar was good.
Yeah, he was a very good game.
But it's the kind of game when Omar can, he can step forward, he can win headers. It's when there's quick players who play around him that he has a problem. But it was quite a physical game up there, so he could kind of do that. But didn't look like there was a goal in the game.
But you have a look and say it's recruitment at the end of the day. Recruitment has affected that result. Yeovil they brought on a couple can't remember the names, but
They just changed it
players in the second half.
tactically.
They changed it again at half time, and all
Yeah.
of a sudden, I said to my mum at half time, I said, I really hope we're not going to regret not scoring in that
you
first
said
half.
now WhatsApp, didn't you, Chris? I'm fuming. We're gonna and I said this. I don't know. I've seen this game so many times. We'll have a few half chances, and we'll lose 1-0.
The only pacey striker was Olu Wabori, who came on, and it was the guy who made the pass. And he's the only one who looked like doing something for them, didn't he? He kept turning, getting down the channels, and that was just the difference in the end.
It's weird. We had 2 strikers up front, and I just don't really remember them getting on the ball or anything. We didn't get it into the strikers enough. It does point. We've sat on here and said, look, those 2, we've got 2 good strikers, but it might not necessarily mean we have to play 2 up front if we're not getting the.
Jarvis was struggling desperately.
The 2 up front, Jarvis didn't look fit, did he? But we also didn't give him any service. There was nothing.
I find it hard to blame strikers when they're not missing chances, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know they've got to make it themselves at times, but we've said how many times we've said them to maybe just drop one of them for a bit and put another one in midfield to give us a bit more. I know we have injuries in its first time, and I thought Lapsy had a great game at times, and I thought things were coming together, and you think, oh, maybe there's something, because I forgot when you watched it on stream, it's totally different. I know it sounds stupid, but you get a completely different perspective because
dry for a start.
That did help, and I was warm. I was in a blanket.
It's a bit like watching at Bristow's, to be honest, in the middle, because you do get a good view of both ends.
Yeah, but you really see it from a different perspective, and I was seeing some of our players from a different way, and I was like, oh, that's like, you kind of compare it with all the other football. You see a lot of football on telly, and you kind of compare the standard of your players, because I've watched quite a lot of football over that. I watched a terrible championship game in the morning. I think the 12 o'clock games on New Year's Day are always shocking. Don't know what standard it is. I think I watched Blackburn and Cardiff. That was it. Yeah, and it's terrible. Like, it wasn't a high standard of game, but everyone talking had something about it. And
I think what was Johnson made a very interesting point after the game when he said about, and he's right. It is the theme over recent games that we're not getting stronger. And he did pinpoint, and again, I think he's right about, you've got a lot of players like you think Moxie, Lapsley, and Hall all came back into the side. Well, they're not going to get stronger because they're Asa did well. I thought Asa was good, but he did well to survive. Him and Moxie managed the 90 minutes. But players that are constantly coming back from injury that you've got to select, because there's either no one else or you've got no faith in other players, such as Hanson, for example, and Andrews. You've got to play them. You're not going to get stronger, are you? You're not.
My main points from the game are, tactically it was a bit better. Gary Johnson actually changed it to suit who we were playing, and it worked. They weren't comfortable playing against the 3-5-2. We were finding gaps. It was working. That was the frustrating thing. Lapsley and Hall were tidying up the midfield. But as soon as we got in towards the penalty area, our minds just go to mess, don't they? They get fidgety and they just pick the wrong option, or they shoot too soon.
It's all about...
It goes behind the player or in front of them.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's a mental thing.
It's a mental thing, definitely. Because if you're even look at Arsenal in the Premier League now, you score some of the goals and it's a bit of a lucky deflection. It fell to and we had loads of them when we were going at the top of the league. It fell to the right player. That's not luck, you realise. That is just confidence and getting in the right positions and gambling on.
It's that gambling thing. I don't think we do enough. We don't,
and when you're full of confidence, you do it. And when you're not, you struggle. And it's like Ali Omar, when the ball came to him. Any other player you think would have finished that, but Ali Omar completely swipes at it, and it's just that confidence thing all across the team.
But I think as well.
That's my next point. To be honest, Ali Omar was good. I mean, it suited him where he played in the middle of a free. He doesn't have to do quite as much, does he? He can watch the game ahead of him.
And as you say, when it's physical, when you're playing against another centre-back for half the game as well.
You're basically simplifying what he has to do in the middle of a free. He doesn't have to move around quite so much. But he had a good game.
He was everywhere, wasn't he? Up front, midfield, at the back, he was just everywhere.
He can never get on the end of anything up front and do something with it. He either falls to him and it just falls off wide.
It's funny.
Doesn't time the jumps or something like that. I don't know why.
It's funny
to happen, does it?
The perspective of other people who don't watch people regularly is interesting. I know 2 Yeovil fans to speak to, and one I work with, and lo and behold, who shall I walk into the second I arrive at work on Monday morning? And he made the comment that actually he thought that Omar looked good. He said he's a good size. He was quick on the turn. He's got a bit of pace about him. But exactly as you said, Don, that's the thing. In that sort of game, both Linton and Fisher want to feel him against him. They want to kind of have a fight with him. Whereas, it's when players want to move the ball and, like you look at the way Chesterfield played and kind of move the ball around you, that's when he struggles, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the next point was no decent subs again. I mean, it was much the same as Boxing Day, wasn't it? When the team needed a bit of a push,
remind me,
so to freshen it up.
I could look, but who come on again? Because if I'm honest, as soon as I first
Wyatt came on with 15, 20 minutes.
This is the beauty of streaming as well. I sulked and walked around the room quite a lot. You can't do that in a game. I was just sulking. Like, it's not going on. And I was thinking,
but were they changes to make? Were they changes to make a difference to the game? Were they changes because you're trying to do something?
There wasn't any changes we could have made, Chris.
This is the thing. Yeah, De Silva hadn't done much, admittedly, but again, and Lapsley had, Lapsley could barely move. So kind of Andrews and Hansen coming on was just an attempt that something might just come off, mightn't it? It wasn't right, we're going to do this and this is the idea. It was just chuck them on, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
they had strikers to put on, didn't they? We didn't. That's the trouble.
Another slight positive. I know people. His kick was a bit dodgy on the second goal. Right, at first I thought it was his mistake. Watching it back, a bit of both. But Alstead really positive. Like one of the most.
I feel so sorry for Alstead this season. I really do.
Because I know he had a dodgy month around that Gateshead game and around that, and I was a bit critical on here. But you're right, Tom. Like he's coming out for the punches. He's everything I want my keeper to be. He's really commanding at the weekend, and
defense wasn't the issue on New Year's Day, was it? We had the chances to score the first goal, and you might concede eventually. The defense can't keep pushing onwards, and you will give up some chances. You've got to score first, haven't you, Chris? You were so angry at half time that we hadn't taken the chances because you can feel that we will concede.
Absolutely, and I think what bothered me at half time, as I said, as we said in Sam alluded to in the WhatsApp chat, was that there was a lot of people were happy and they applauded them off. Oh God, haven't we played well? Oh, it's great. Yeah, but we haven't scored. When you're just like and again I said at half, they can't be as bad again. Just like at Plainmoor, they can't be that bad again.
First 5 minutes was horrific again.
Both the games, we should have been one. Yeah. We should have been more than one goal ahead.
I could feel we were going to lose, Chris. I've seen it 100 times for Torquay that we've had the better games and then we got to score.
Got to get ahead in games.
Noticed as well the second half of the same pattern. We get absolutely blitzed for 5 minutes.
We'll be slow in both halves to start.
Football terminology. I've thought of that one. We absolutely dominated for 5 minutes. Somehow don't concede. You think, phew.
Yeah.
And we start to get on top. I thought, hang on a minute. Are you going to make a goal here? And then they just score a sucker punch on the break.
I said to my dad in the first 10 minutes of both the games, they've started quicker than us. And it's not an obvious thing, but it's some throw-ins. It's in our half. The game's in our half. When you're at home, you've really, you want to try and start on the front foot. You want to get in their box, get in their faces,
get the home fans on you.
Passive in the first 10 minutes and all kinds of.
You have the ball, our way into games, so Chris.
Yeah, but you've got to. In our situation, you've got to try and get there, get an early goal, start to get in people's faces. But we just don't. We're so passive in the first 10 minutes.
You're right. Those 10 minutes are just
start strong.
Yeah, those 10 minutes against bad teams is just like pinball, isn't it? Against a good team, we're 2-0 down. But we just don't start with authority. And I'm afraid Leeds was an absolute mire because you go, we're only, I haven't looked at the table. What was it, 2? I don't want to look. I hate
it's still only 2 points. But what's interesting, it's still only 2 points, but the bottom 5 have now starting to get cut adrift. It's a 5-point gap now, isn't it?
Oldham got a draw against Notts County as well.
Someone like Oldham,
they will be improving.
They will improve. It doesn't matter. We have to be a mid-table team now. We have to aim for 50 points or just under. And we play a lot of easy teams. We're in so much trouble.
Yeah, we haven't been able to beat any of them, have we? Bar Aldershot, but even they look out of sight now.
And we haven't beaten any of the bottom teams at all, have we, Tom?
No, and I'm sorry, lads, but you're not going to survive if you can't beat those around you. And I made reference in the last episode of the fixtures we've got this month coming up. They just look so difficult. And we just wonder where the next win's going to come from.
Is it this?
We play.
Go on, Tom.
Go on. Sorry. I was going to say, I missed the first 20 minutes because I couldn't get the stream to work. But once I did get it to work, I was encouraged. But again, you got to take your chances at this level, and especially where we are. And it's like. As soon as they scored, it was just like, game over. Yeah,
I think he's got to stick or twist with this partnership soon because he keeps playing both of them, but it's just not happening.
Well, when you've got, so many players that aren't 100% fit, I mean, again, all season long, what can you do?
It's just
I take your point about Goodwin and Jarvis, Don, but what's the option? You can't just play another midfielder. You can't. Because
it depends if he's going to stick to 3-5-2. If he's going to go back to a 4, I'd play a 4-4-1-1, put Evans behind. I mean, Goodwin, I want Goodwin in the penalty area. He didn't get a chance to shoot.
Evans has no output. He was lively. He was good at Yeovil. He got on the ball. They couldn't do it, but there's no output. The shots were wayward. The shots got blocked.
You need him in the penalty area, Chris.
I think he needs to play more
yards from goal.
4-4-1-1. I'm trying to Lemon Evans role.
But you look at De Silva again. De Silva's dangerous. No output. Wern pick up the ball, can travel with the ball, get into dangerous areas. No output.
They didn't have any. They didn't have any overlap, did they? For a lot of it. So if you give them overlap, maybe you get a bit more on the wing. But
yeah,
I've got some stats to give you on a wing.
There we
Here we go. Stand by,
son.
Played 13 away league games, goalless in 8 of them. 61% without any goals. We've only scored 4 away since Southend, 3rd of September. And overall goals, we scored 9 goals against Aldershot and Dorking in total in those 2 games. That amounts for a third of our goals in total. That 1 week. So I mean, it's pathetic, isn't it?
Thanks, Tom. That helped. Cheers.
You listen to Radiohead.
They'll be flocking towards this, won't they? Blimey.
That just illustrates away from home. We've been so meek and mild in attack, haven't we?
And we've got more wins away from home, haven't we? Then we've won 2.
Yeah,
won
3. 3 away, 1 at home.
Yeah, but we got 2 of those away wins early, didn't we?
And we didn't really deserve to win the majority.
And they were absolute flukes. They were
and again at Dagenham, that they had lots of pinging around on another day. One of those goes in.
Post 3 times.
I think the reality of this situation is that if our home form doesn't improve, we'll go down. It's as simple as that. Because you can pick up
something at home. We're not going to pick up loads of points away. We really have to do something.
But you'll pick up the odd point here and there. But basically, what are we going to have to win? What? 50% of our home games between now and the end of the season, probably.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
That's the problem, isn't it? That's the danger.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Banyan. Sells.